y'all. This is Dr. Martha Durham. I'm a psychologist here in Greenville, South Carolina. This is the Why Did They Do That podcast. And I'm really excited to have a good friend and coach of my son, Toby Cates, who was also a standout wide receiver at the University of South Carolina.
Absolutely.
And then played for the Cleveland Browns and a Canadian league.
Baltimore Stallions.
The Baltimore Stallions?
Yeah.
Okay, which was a Canadian league. We consider him a part of our family. I don't know if that's insulting to him. He's not going to tell me here on air.
Definitely not.
Some other cool things about Toby is he's also a dad of a college football player. He helped my son become good enough to get recruited, and my son plays college football as well. And I'm really interested in picking his brain and talking about how football has changed, high school football in particular, where you see that fans and families and, players don't have the same loyalty to a school. I think we know why, but I'd love for you to talk about that. What do you think is happening?
I just think it's numerous things that's happening. I don't think you can really pinpoint or just say one thing.
Yeah.
First of all, I'd talk about, like my son. Use him as an example.
Yes, CJ.
He started off at one school, and then things just wasn't working out well.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're playing time and stuff. I mean, actually, he was starting, but they wasn't really using him right, or certain things just wasn't happening. Yeah. And he was just looking for a better opportunity just to showcase his talents and do things like that. So he actually transferred to JLman High School and had a spectacular career there.
Yeah, he did.
And we had some other players that transferred in. Yeah. And it's the same way. Sometimes you're at big high schools and they're prominent with winning and doing things, and sometimes you just get overlooked. Yeah. And, we had a player who come in, and his dad said all he wanted to do is just, I don't care if he just play on special teams, you know what I'm saying? Just a few things, just want to play. He's a hard worker, and just to waste all that talent, basically on the bench, for 4 years, it's just something just hard to swallow. But he ended up moving over there and actually starting for us too, and helped try to build that program at JLman to an outstanding, program that it's pretty much had become in the last couple of years. So, like I say, just that instance alone, some people just looking for a different opportunity, just to shine and basically get out. I think there's numerous reasons, and winning is one.
Of course.
That's the most dominant thing is winning. You know what I'm saying? When teams win, we felt this a long time ago when I was coaching at Greenville. Yeah. We got a lot of kids because we were successful.
Yes.
And, I think that's the thing that parents want to be a part of that. I think kids want to be a part of that. Sure. And so I think they jumped ship, coming over there to help us, try to win games. Yeah. I just think still some other things. I mean, you got friends that you might have played even neighborhoods. Yeah. Neighborhoods are split. One side goes to a certain school, one side goes to a certain school. And if most of your friends stay on this other side and they go into different schools for you, and their team is winning, again, that's that word again. Yeah, people want to win. Yeah, that team is winning and they're having fun and they're doing certain things. So people tend to be like, well, I want to go over here with my friends because they're having such a great time and they're doing such a thing. And, sometimes nowadays, the AAU teams,
Yes, that's what you were talking about, those little teams that play together young.
Yeah, when you're in AAU and you playing on a team with somebody and 4 or 5 of those guys go to one high school and again, they're doing pretty good, they get success, school may be a little bit bigger. Yeah. And then all of a sudden they're starting to get letters from different places. And that makes a big thing too, is recruiting. You're talking about recruiting, Yeah, you get into the realm of recruiting. They're getting letters young, because they go to a high school that's predominantly don't produce players. Right. And so schools tend to come look at those same schools, especially when the coach say, we got another one that reminds you of this certain person to see what he did at this age. He may even be better. Yeah. Coaches come to that door and start, knocking down that door and trying to, get the best for their teams.
That goes back to that idea of winning. Yeah. So if you're winning, you get the college coaches coming in. Right? And if you're not winning, unfortunately, even if you have some good players, those recruiters might not come in. Yeah, not as much. That's right, not as much. Definitely if you hear about a stud, because most recruiters come, they ask the coach to say something other than players on your team. Right. What players in this conference stood out to you? Yeah. And if the coach, they do that. Yes. Okay. But if the coach is a great coach and willing to help kids, because that should be the main focus. It should be. If somebody called me about a kid
from another school, and I ain't gonna say, well, hey, what about mine? No, like, yes, and how would you rate him? I'm like, he's a great ball player.
I know this is true because you were always a big advocate for Bruce, who's my son, and you never coached him on the high school level.
Right.
You trained him, strength and conditioning, really made him a much better player, honestly, and probably are a very integral part of why he's recruited. And you have kids like that all over because you started an AAU team. What was that? That was the
Carolina Ravens.
That's right. And CJ started with you as a little boy back there.
Yes, When we first started this organization, that was something that was really special. We only had 4 kids. When we first started, we ended up with over 100, when we finished. So, and a lot of those kids are playing college football now. We just sit back. I can't remember all the places that they're playing. But, we got kids that's everywhere that's playing. And that was just the most remarkable thing that we wanted to do was just give back to these kids and make sure, like I say, things were special. And, even some of those kids, they maybe been on my team and say if you couldn't play on my team. I think that's what's happening in high school too. You get all those schools and you may grow up in, say, the Greenville High District. And you come to Greenville High and some kids transfer in that normally didn't go there. And now playing time. And you know that those kids are better. That's the difference. When you know that they are better, but you still working your tail off trying to be the best that you can be. But when you come home and tell your parents and the parents tell you, son, you can do whatever, but you will never be as fast as he is. You will never be as good as he is. So then the kids start thinking again. So I think that's another reason kids transferring. Some of them can't show loyalty. They want to show loyalty. But they can't because their inner feeling is they want to get something out of the sports realm. And they're working so hard, and they should. So they end up maybe, say, leaving a 5A school and going to a 4A school or leaving a high-powered 5A school and going to another low-powered 5A school. And sometimes as parents, you want to see your kids succeed.
Of course.
And you want them to come home with a smile on their face. You don't want them to come home slamming books and doing all these things. And it's just something in them. And I honestly think it's something in them that's going to bother them almost for the rest of their life.
I mean, I think, so some kids are only going to make it through high school. They're not going to go to college. But if they're going to play in high school, they actually want to play.
Yeah, they actually want to play.
Yeah, they want to enjoy that. And I totally see both the player and the parents wanting that kind of experience for their child. Now it's really high stakes. Like if you're good enough to play in college, that might mean a scholarship.
That's the difference. That's absolutely. Now, people talking about the winning, and then in college level, it's the money. Well, for us too, it's the money. Sometimes that's the only place for kids to get out of here. You know what I'm saying? And go somewhere. And why not use the skill set that you've been blessed with and you've been born with, and you got a lot of hard work with it. So once you put all that together and you're able to do that and say your school wasn't the place, but this school is the place, then, would you consider it? I'm going to use a name just out there who's recent and like Maceo Bennett. He started at,
we played with MJ.
That's right. And like I say, he's a great young man. He's a great talent.
And his family's a great family.
But the school he was playing for at Woodmont was, not on that competitive level of seeing him. And he could have stayed there and maybe been a star, but you still got to have the other pieces around him. He got to have the right quarterback. He can have 30 targets a game. But if the quarterback can't get off the line, can't block. People can't do certain things. Take all 11 in football to make it work. So he comes to Greenville. It's other great players over there. He don't have to do as much. And then he still get the recognition, you know what I'm saying, because he's getting less touches, but he has more productivity because he has other pieces around him that blocks very well. Quarterback can throw the football to him. Running backs that you got to worry about. So, it's a whole lot of pieces that I think, that's really why people are not loyal to, to the thing. Like I say, not just one, but all those pieces, things that I said is.
Well, there's a difference too. If you have the talent to get that scholarship, it used to be that was the payment. You got the scholarship to go to college and get that education. Now we've got the NIL stuff. And I think that, I don't know how I feel about it, because you'll get high or college kids making more than pros or coaches. And then what?
Absolutely. I said a long time ago, once lawyers got involved in this and things start happening, it's going to be a kid definitely coming straight out of high school and they're going to target them at that high school level because they're going to give them some upfront money or that hush money, you know, and just really see, it's going to be a booster that comes in that nobody really knows, and underhanded schemes, or here's just a bag, you know, of lunch, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, you're getting $10,000 in this bag. And, you know, as high school, you don't have to give them that $1 million right then. You know, just a couple $1,000 here, something here, leasing a car here that they can't trace back. You know, lawyers are smart, people are smart, and able to put certain things in their name and say, but, you know, you about bound to come to us, you know. And like I say again, another thing I want to talk about, you know, what happens when a player's skill set and his desire to win is more than the coaches and the players on his team? Oh, yeah. You know, you think about that, you know, somebody like Bruce, who gives his all and work hard every workout, every time I coach him, he gonna give football. Yes, he gonna give it at practice. What you see is what you get. He has that motor like a J.J. Watt, you know what I'm saying, and T.J. Watt, you know, to be relevant right now.
He just needed 3 more inches in height to be Power 5, y'all.
Absolutely. And so, but what happens when you own a team, like say, I'm not going to use the first team I use. I'm just going to say teams, so I don't want to downgrade any teams. But truth is in the pudding when you look at the records that's been not winning for a long time. And this kid is out here, he is giving his all, and you can see him scrapping, you know what I'm saying, on video every single play that he's in. What happens when his dad is sick of it, his mom is sick of it, and say those kids don't care? He'd be like, come home and telling you things that they say in the locker room and just laughing and joking about it. And
not serious.
That's all right. This is not rec football anymore.
That's right.
You know, and I'm living, trying to live my dream out, you know, and I can live it out, but you guys just don't have the same passion I have. So then sometimes you just got to realize, hey, it's just time for me to move on.
And that's why we have some of these schools that people call them recruiting schools, whatever they call them. But you got these schools that are a football school. There's a new one here, Mountain Prep.
Yeah, Mountain Prep, MVP.
Yeah, and there's been that one at the beach. I can't think of all the names of them.
Yeah, Gray
Collegiate,
Oceanside Collegiate.
Yeah, so then a lot of kids even move and go to these schools. Absolutely. And I totally get that because like my own son, I say this and I say it to his coaches now, Bruce is going to college to play football. Right. He's not playing football to go to college. Right? It's his drive. And kind of like you, I think you were that athlete. You took it all the way. You still work in it. Right. You've also been a high school coach. Absolutely. Little league, high school coach. You probably could coach on the college level if you wanted to. Now your son plays. I mean, that's your drive, your path, what you're supposed to do. Yeah.
And it's, you know, I had college offers back then, but again, it boils down to like the first thing you said was family man. And
yes, you are a family man.
I had 2 younger kids when I was in college, and I just couldn't take not being a part of their life and having to sacrifice money at that time, and you know, being a grad student, you know, teacher, you know, grad aide or whatever, GA, and I just basically told the coaches, I can't be no GA, man. I got to put food and provide for my family, and just being able to see them every day. If I was in the situation I am now, you know, and something was kind of local to get that start, could I do it? Yes. Yeah. But, you know, older, being more mature, and, you know, and things that you just went through life and you just learned. But it's something that I never went back and say, I wish I had a. No. You know, the difference is it just wasn't my plan. But I always tell people, that's right here, you know, just because you coach college football, don't make you a better coach than me. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Listen, and, I just didn't take that. Coach, I just didn't take that route, you know. And so if I had took it, I tell my wife, probably we wouldn't be married. Yeah. You know, I wouldn't have my younger kids. Your lovely wife. I wouldn't have this and your have daughter who's things. A gymnast. Absolutely. So I wouldn't give up. There's no money. There's no prestige. You know, I wouldn't give nothing up. For family. That's right. And
that's what it's about. Absolutely. Love and family.
That's right. Like I say, y'all, my family, I can't wait to see Bruce play next year. I can't wait to get there.
We're excited.
Play.
We're excited.
Yeah, I'm very excited. You know, my son will be a senior next year. Yes. I think he could possibly get a medical red shirt. Which,
that's what Bruce has right now. He's not playing because of medical red shirt. So
I just wanted to ask him, ask him, is your love still there for it? Would you want to even play another year? Yeah. You know, y'all ain't won maybe 2 or 3 games in a couple years. And again, you sacrificing your time, you sacrificing everything, you're going out here. Is your love for it still?
He reminds me of Bruce, though, or Bruce reminds me of him because he was always so determined, a great athlete, so technically just perfect. When you'd watch him doing those drills, we'd be like, Bruce, you got to be more like CJ. Like, he loved it. So I'll be interested to see what he chooses there.
Yeah, you know, and like I say, I'm glad that he loved it. It was nothing that I pushed him.
Like his daddy, you didn't.
Yeah. Man, I didn't push him, you know. I told my wife, she was like, well, he need to go. You need to make him go. Well, I didn't have to. You know, he won't go.
Didn't.
But I said, by the time he become a senior, I'm not going to force him. I'm not going to ask him to work out. But I would come down them steps like every Saturday, Sunday, he already sitting there waiting for me. I said, okay, so he won't sit.
Yes, he does.
And I like, you know, that's a great thing that he has the passion to do it. And, you know, he talk about football. He don't miss any workouts. He don't miss anything. So,
he doesn't.
So I'm just like, hey, man, it's, you know, the sky's the limit for you. You know, it's not going to be that, another saying I had to him is, you may not make it to pro as a player, but I said, look on that sideline and see how many people on that sideline. He'd be like 90 to 100. I said, how many players are? He said, it's like a 53-man roster. I said, so only 53 of them playing football. Yeah. And it's 100 and something people on the sideline. Yeah. So you can still get in the NFL.
Yes, you can.
And I said, it just may not be playing ball.
That's right.
And I said, you got a knack and a passion for, you know, on the recruiting side or analysis side, or, you know, you going into physical therapy or whatever your trade or anything that may be, can still lead you to that path, you know what I'm saying? And that's for every kid, you know. That's because
you still have that spark in your eye. See you.
You know, it's you know, like I said, I just love kids who have passion, who have something. And nowadays, a lot of us have gone that route. So it's not like when I came through, I ain't had nobody to talk to. I ain't had nobody they could refer that has ever did. Nobody had ever went Division I that I knew that I could just come up and talk to. Or, you know, now it's social media. You know, people can get on there and maybe they can Facebook anyway. They may hit Jadavion Clown and he may call them back. They may hit Marcus Lattimore. He may send something, you know.
Jordan Birch used to talk to Bruce. I always thought he was the nicest young man for doing that.
Yeah,
so this little kid.
You see what I'm saying? So there's so much influence and so much stuff that you can reach people now. And I think that's the great thing, you know what I'm saying? Like say people about social media, how bad. Only thing that's bad is how people use it.
Correct.
You know, if you use everything correct and use it how it's supposed to be used, it's a great tool.
I agree.
You know,
I agree.
And that's with a knife. A knife bad. He stabbed somebody with. Well, it wasn't meant to do that. A knife was meant to cut food. Yeah, that's right. It meant to cut food and do stuff. So you can make anything in this world bad if you use it for evil.
It's how we use it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So
I want to name one other person that you trained. Debo Samuel.
Yes.
He was one of the people that you trained, and look at him now.
Absolutely, you know.
Yeah, that's a high-level trainer right there, y'all.
Yeah, you know, I got my hands on him, but, you know, Debo, he had other trainers, you know, in his lifetime, too. Yeah. But coming in I just think just showing him some of the workouts and some of the things that he had never done before and different ways of doing it. You know, the stuff I tried to do, I didn't want the basic old traditional stuff, even though all that works. But you're going to get that anyway. You know, you're going to get that at your high school lifting weights. You're going to get this at this. Yeah. But the stuff that I was doing, I was trying to always come up with the newest drill, the neatest thing, not repeating myself over and over again. You know what I'm saying?
I remember.
Always breaking down muscles different. And if I see something make me go, then I know that it's hard and I know that they going to have to go through this. But I know that's what it takes to be the greatest that you're trying to be.
Yes, and you did a great job of that.
Well, I appreciate it. It was fun.
I know. I can still see the sparkle in your eye talking about it.
It's fun.
I really appreciate you coming in and talking to me today.
Hey, I really appreciate it. I'm available anytime.
Yes, we'll have you
can't wait
back.
to come over to dinners. Can't wait to tailgate. It's a whole lot of stuff that we're going to be doing.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
I just can't wait to, like I say, the next couple of years and just see how it just all pans out. But I know it's all going to work for the great.
Bruce was really excited to know you're going to be on this.
Yes, I need to give him a call and check on him. And, but, you know, it's just always love seeing y'all smile in the family portrait at the end. That's just always something that's special.
Thank you. For y'all, too. Yeah. So, y'all, this was the Why Did They Do That podcast. We're talking to Toby Cates about why fan and player and parent loyalty may have changed over the years. If you liked what you heard and saw, like, subscribe, and pass it on. Thank you, Toby.
You're welcome.